Hello, everyone. It's Brittany, and today we are going to be doing the long-awaited video, how to know yourself as I am. First, I want to talk about what is the I am. And as you guys know, I always mention this in every single video, but this video is going to be more of a deeper understanding of what this really is, what it means to you, and how you can really connect to that truth within yourself so that you can experience a very effortless, beautiful, fulfilling life and a life full with everything that you could ever desire for yourself. So, what is the I am? Well, it's the truth of who you are. Number one, it's the faceless, formless substance of power. It's the invisible divine presence of awareness. I am is you. It's the source of the one energy that animates your entire life experience. I am is the authority. It's the all. It is absolutely everything here and now. So when you know yourself as I am, and you stop buying into this idea that you're a limited human being in this physical body, you'll truly live a life full of everything that you could ever possibly desire for yourself. A life of happiness, a life of peace, a life of fulfillment. So how do we do this? Well, first, I want to share with you guys kind of how I came to this understanding and what I ended up doing to kind of connect to this truth. And just to preface, this is not about doing anything, but you guys have been asking to hear my experience. And so I'm going to tell you how I got to this place. So, if you've heard any of my personal experiences before, I talk a lot about the things that I've struggled with. And one of those moments in my life where I was really struggling was around that time when my husband got sick. And I shared this experience with you guys already, so I'm not going to go into it again. But around that same time period, I was actually struggling with some health issues myself, and I was having some unexpected issues with money, and some relationships that I had were kind of going sideways, I guess you could say. And to be honest, the more I attempted to manifest the things that I wanted, the worse that things seemed to get. And it wasn't just, I'm dealing with this health issue and I'm going to try to manifest perfect health for myself. And then maybe, oh no, your labs didn't come back, perfect. It was just one thing after the other. No matter what I did, it felt like I was just really making everything in my life worse. And I knew enough about the law at that time to know that that really couldn't be the case. And at this point, I had kind of, come to the understanding that I am God of my reality. But even though I understood that from a logical point of view or from a knowledge-based perspective, all the reading that I did, all the studying that I did, everything that I did, I grasped the concept, okay? But just because I understood it, I really wasn't living that way. I wasn't living from that experience. So truthfully, if you could have looked at my life at that time and seen the kind of life that I was experiencing, I had every reason not to believe in this truth, not to believe that I had this power. And honestly, after I had that experience with my husband where I told you guys I had that dream where I just knew it was me, it was my higher self that I was communicating with, I really had to kind of take inventory and sit down with myself and say, hey, like, how can you expect things in your life to get better when you aren't fully allowing yourself to identify with your truth? And guys, like, I'm talking about this to kind of point you in this direction as well. If you're not identified with your true nature and you are buying into this idea that you are this human being that has this past, that has these belief systems, that's always dealt with money issues, or that has never been committed to, or whatever it is, and that's who you're buying into being, how can you expect anything to change from there? How can you expect to shift from one identity of someone who believes that they are these things, that they had these experiences, and then somehow jump into a brand new identity of somebody who never had any of those issues? And I'm just using this for an example, but a version of you that believes that they have always had money issues is never going to get on board with the fact that you've been wealthy your entire life. It's not going to happen, not from a human being perspective. Every identity is very limited in what they can perceive and understand. So again, each identity is just that one singular identity. So an identity of somebody who struggled financially cannot possibly imagine being financially successful. It's not possible for that identity. Well, it's possible for the identity that has always been wealthy and always been abundant. But in order to get there, you have to return to your true self. And so this was where I was struggling for so long, and where things seemed to just continue to get worse, because I was trying to convince an identity that it was something that it wasn't. And we're not changing anything. We're not changing identities. We are recognizing who we really are. And then from there, we're choosing which part of ourselves that we want to experience, full well knowing that we are none of these human identities. So with that being said, when I really sat down and asked myself, like, have I fully been living as the God of my reality? Well, the answer was no, absolutely not. I wasn't. So even though everything in my life really had no proof in it whatsoever that this was truly who I was, I had spent so much time, so much energy. Oh my gosh, just I gave so much of my life to making this manifestation thing, in air quotes, work out in the way that I wanted it to. And I just couldn't get there. And so I really had to ask myself, like, even though I don't have the proof, even though my life may not look the way that I want it to right now in this moment, do I choose to believe that this is who I am? Or do I not? You cannot be in halfway. You can't be kinda there. You can't be almost. There is only I am and I am not. And to be honest, I am not is an illusion anyways. So it's either you are this person or you're not this person. It's either you are God or you're not. There is no in between. So I had to make that choice for myself. And even though I had no proof, like I said, even though I didn't know it in the way that I wanted to know it, I chose to know it anyways. And what that looked like for me was waking up every single morning and bringing my awareness to this truth. And again, this was me just wanting to know it. I didn't have the proof there, guys, but I chose it anyways. And every single morning, I brought my attention and awareness to that. I think I also mentioned to you guys that I spent several weeks, just really, really making that my only priority, my only focus. Knowing who I am, understanding that I am the source of everything in my life. Nothing is separate from me. Nothing exists outside of me and my awareness of it. Okay? So it didn't matter how I was feeling. It didn't matter what was going on that day. I made that my number one. I made that my priority. And really what that looked like was leaving my manifestations aside, if that makes sense. So I wasn't trying to manifest more money into my life. I wasn't trying to see myself as the healthiest version of myself. I really just put it all aside and I purely focused on the truth of who I am. And by understanding that I am is absolutely everything, that perfect health is implied in I am. Wealth is implied in I am. Happiness, love, safety, fulfillment, it's all implied in the I am. But when you add anything after I am, you are now choosing which part of yourself you want to experience. So for me, I simply stuck with I am. I did not add anything to it in this process. Do I now? Yes, I do. But that wasn't my priority then. I really just wanted to get very clear on this. And I wanted to have this experience of knowing it for myself. So what ended up happening for me was that I wasn't feeling anything about this, by the way, when I did this. No feeling, but I was just sitting there with this idea. I wasn't just saying it to myself. I was actually allowing those words to sink in. I was really meditating on it. And when I say meditating, I don't mean I was closing my eyes and getting into a Zen quiet state. I just mean I was really sitting in that awareness. Even if thoughts were going on, even if feelings were happening, that wasn't where I was putting my focus. My focus was on the truth. And I always had that verse running in the background, and that was be still and know. Be still and know that I am God. And from there, I would do my daily practice where I would put my awareness on this truth. And then throughout the day, if I was feeling overwhelmed by something, if I was feeling like I wasn't where I wanted to be, I would take a few deep breaths and I would just be still and know who I truly am. And what ended up happening was I started to notice that more consistently, I was feeling a sense of peace and gratitude. And I wasn't trying to force this in any way, guys. It was just that because I was in that awareness, I was connecting to the truth of who I am. I was accepting that truth for myself, and I was allowing myself to just embody that truth. Things in my life started to change. And it first happened feelingly. It first happened with my mood and the way that I felt every single day. And then I started to notice that things in the 3D world really didn't affect me in the way that they used to. Now, that's not to say that I don't have emotions, that I don't react to things. I absolutely do. But I have those reactions. And once I do, I always come back to the truth. And I know that that isn't me. That's not coming from me. That's not coming from my true self. My true self is observing these experiences all through these filters of these identities, these characters that I have chosen to observe. So I don't have to take it personally. I don't have to attach myself to any of this. I can just allow the experience to be what it is and then come back to the truth of who I really am. And this is it, guys. This is it. So when you ask me, how do I know? How do I become like you? How do I live the life that you live? Guys, I'm no different than you. I am no different than any of you. And as I said before, I had every 3D reason not to buy into this, not to believe in this. But guess what? I did it anyways because it's what I wanted. I truly asked myself this question, and I've asked some of you guys this in sessions before, but I'm going to say it here again. I asked myself, let's just play devil's advocate for a minute. If nothing in my 3D world ever changed and it stayed exactly the same way that it is right now, what would I be doing within? How would I choose to live my life? Would I continue to complain and look and search and try to figure out what I've done wrong now? Would I be stressed? Would I be focused on lack and these problems? Would I choose to continue to live my life that way? Or would I choose to allow the 3D world to be what it is and to internally focus on feeling good, internally enjoy my world, my imagination, my home? And my answer is I would definitely do the latter. I would do the thing that felt good to me. I would stop living in desperation and lack and separation, and I would start to live in love and happiness, fulfillment, peace, enjoyment, regardless if my 3D world changed or not. And of course, I understood that that's not possible. Even if I knew nothing about manifestation, I understand that life is always changing. We go through changes. That's how the 3D world works. But if my goal is to change something outside of myself, I'm really not connecting to my truth. I'm really not understanding who I am here. And so I had to just put all of that stuff aside and really, truly focus on who I am and what that means to me, and to allow myself the space to enjoy that experience, to enjoy that knowing, to enjoy myself and my life. And this is when things started appearing for me in so many amazing ways. And I'm not going to share those stories with you here in this video, but I want to leave you guys with a practice, and that is stop doing anything. Stop doing the techniques. Stop trying. Stop searching. Stop looking for the next thing that will help you manifest. Stop trying to figure out what you've done wrong. Stop looking for beliefs that are causing you to be stuck. Just stop. Stop all of that. Breathe. Close your eyes and recognize I am. I am. I am the faceless, formless, invisible substance of power. I am all things. I have absolutely everything right now in this moment. Nothing is missing in my life. I am the all. Therefore, I have it all. I am. This is all I want you to do. Every single day, this is how you will start your morning. This is how you will end your day. And this is what you will do when you find yourself searching, wondering where it is, worried about time, wondering if it's ever going to happen. Who's asking those questions? Who's thinking those thoughts? It's not you. It's not the all. It's not even the version of you that has everything right now. So stop buying into those ideas. Stop buying into those doubts and those fears and those questions and those worries. It's not coming from you. Recognize that. Be still and know I am God.